The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome now to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour, a post-election edition. As always, we come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
As always, we take a look at the market just before we get started. At the moment, up 19 points on the S&P cash. Volume is already through the roof. It's through 4 billion shares. And I don't know what to say. Everybody told me that the market would self-implode. It would just, there would be nothing else that could happen. In fact, this is what I heard.
What he means is Old Testament, real wrath of God type stuff.
Exactly.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies, rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes, the dead rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
That's what I was promised today. If a certain individual won the presidency, did not happen. Going to happen last night. A welcome to all the dinners out there that were trading far into the night. As many smart traders did in the den, the smart thing to do when the Dow was on $700 and getting ready to go lock limit down, probably take at least part or all of it off in a hedge and see what happens when you get up the next day. That was very wise for many to do out there. As normally, you have to think about whether or not you want to be betting on. Hang on a second, I got to sneeze. I had to sneeze. Sorry about that. It was a pretty violent sneeze, too. Anyway, you're down 700 points on the Dow on a day, or 750. You're kind of betting on whether or not a 101-year-old woman's going to get to 102. Maybe you should be betting the 70-year-old woman gets to 75. Probably a better bet out there. And you just didn't get it. Well, of course, the plunge protection team came out. Everybody went gangbusters. And there's always a plausible deniability in what's going on out here. It could have been one of two things. One, there's truly the mythical plunge protection team, or two, all the money that just got shoved out of bonds went directly into the stock market today. I thought that would happen around 127 or 128 on the TLT. We did get that today. We actually blew through it. We're down 5. And now the question is, what happens in this market? We will answer that shortly. In the meantime, we need to talk about a little bit of history.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1989, East German officials opened the Berlin Wall, allowing travel from East to West Berlin. The following day, celebrating Germans began to tear the wall down, one of the ugliest and most infamous symbols of the Cold War, and soon was reduced to rubble that was quickly snatched up by souvenir hunters. I was there in that following week because I remember I was there the week before Thanksgiving, and then I flew back to my mom's for Thanksgiving. And it was one of those things where you go, okay, that's it. Had a bunch of Russians that had already snuck over and were trying to sell anything, AK-47s, tanks, aircraft. And I actually mentioned it to one of the folks in my flying club. And somehow it got around to another gentleman that owned a chain of what was they? Not drugstores. They were supermarkets, food supermarkets. And he got in touch with these folks, and about a year later, he met a general on the end of a runway down there and bought one of those L-39 Lithuanian trainer jets from a Russian with money in a bag from his grocery store. Literally 150 grand sitting in it. She had it shipped back. They didn't even bother to pull the machine guns out of the wings, though, and the ATF held it there for a whole 6 months until they could get it. He said, well, just take them out. And they didn't want to do that. They wanted to hold it up for a whole year and see whether or not anybody complained. And I think he got it out finally in 6 months. Spent a year rebuilding it, and I was there the day it took off. It was a very interesting deal. But everybody trying to trade anything that they wasn't nailed down, including tanks. And I said, the only problem is I don't have anywhere to sell a tank. I'd be glad to trade you all kinds of television studio equipment. I just don't know what to do with a tank. There's no Craigslist for tanks. No Craigslist at all back then. No PayPal. No eBay for tanks. Of course, we can always think. Anyway, it was very interesting to be there, and you could just really get the idea of just how bad socialism, how bad communism was. Talking to some of the folks that knew English there, they told me about everything going on. Mostly the thing I thought that was most interesting is how the press continually lied to them to the point where the only thing that they believed was whatever the opposite of Pravda was actually pushing. And, of course, most of the people there in Berlin were close enough to the wall that they could get radio signals from the West, actually hear what was going on. Somehow I feel we're almost like this in the United States. We've got one broadcast that has a point of view that probably doesn't get very close to reality. Well, I'm all about reality, so we will move on out here. And, of course, elections have consequences. And the first one of those, of course, is the marijuana initiatives out there by special request because they couldn't get enough of it yesterday.
These high school boys and girls are having a hop at the local soda fountain. Innocently they dance. Innocent of a new and deadly menace lurking behind closed doors. Marijuana, the burning weed with its roots in hell. In this film, you will see the ease with which this vicious plant can be grown in your neighbor's yard, rolled into harmless-looking cigarettes, hidden in an innocent shoe or watch case.
And anyway, I love that. I could play it all day long. The Reefer Madness movie, if you've never seen it. Anyway, what else do we have going on? Anyway, Massachusetts, California, Nevada, and in Florida. I don't know why I don't have Florida on here. Actually passed marijuana benefits, except the California, Massachusetts, and the Nevada ones are basically unrestricted. Florida one down here, I think, has some provision for medical marijuana. Anyway, not much changed on that. As we said, Scott's Miracle Grow, probably the thing to invest in this sector. Too many phony baloney stocks around this already. Be very careful. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
As always, if you love the Power Trading Hour, and I know you do, I ask you to tell at least 2 friends.
And he tells 2 friends, and she tells 2 friends, and so on, and so on, and so on.
That's what I need from you. Just spread the love around for the Power Trading Hour a little bit. You can call me at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. I had some emails during the break. Are you sure there isn't anything else out here that I want to invest in? And I said, well, there are some things that I'm into, but they are not public companies. And that is the ability to test people like breathalyzers. My guess is that this is the next giant money-making deal for local police. They make about $1,500 a shot pulling over a drunk driver here in Pinellas County. So it's quite the money-making deal. My guess is that the next money-making deal will be when they can actually test for marijuana other than just straight alcohol. But nobody's really come up with a great one next. But if you think Tesla was a shooting star of a stock, if you can test for marijuana impairment while driving on cars, my guess is that will be the next stock that goes from $2 to 200, just like Tesla did at one time. Other things going on out here, the exit polls. I warned everybody during the show yesterday that they were not worth the ink that was used to print them. Hopefully nobody paid any attention to them. And I was hoping Andy Hecht would call in because we had a lot of discussions about how these polls were done and what my predictions were. Maybe he's listening and he'll call in. But there just didn't seem like it was too far off from the conclusion that most people that objectively looked at the data. It was very interesting for me, though, to see just how many people were looking at these pre-exit polls that we warned you about yesterday and all the reasons why. People lie and people don't care. They just want to get you out of their hair if you're asking stuff. And there was a lot of that. Only later in the night did we really see the exit polls tell us the true story that was backed up by actual votes. The best gun salesman ever. Well, of course, elections have consequences, and Smith & Wesson was one of the biggest movers out here in the markets without a great deal else going on. In fact, I think they were off 17% last we looked. What is it out here? 16%, $23.89. Elections have consequences. We'll see more as we go on, but probably the biggest one is that for the next 4 years, nobody is probably going to get into the Supreme Court that doesn't vehemently support the Second Amendment. And that probably, after 8 years of constant threat by the current president, means that there may be as many guns as you can get. I might say that we are at peak gun, and watch out for these stocks off 16% today just on this. They're going to be changing their name, trying to get into other businesses, and I think that's probably a wise thing for them to do. Very shortly, he will be out of office, and I think it will be open season for low prices on guns. It is a mad market, and man, it's never been madder in the last 24 hours. But we will get into what's going on out here. We actually talked about at the beginning of the show what I think is going on, and let's take a quick look at it. It is what has happened before, and that is monstrous volume. And we've talked about this many times. Where's my clock? Do I not have my clock up here? I don't. Need to get it up. Got at least a few more minutes. I thought I had it up. Maybe I closed it. Okay. Oh, there it is. Got 4 minutes. We talked about how volume comes in, and it's kind of the bears thing. It can be a little too light, it can be just right, or it can be too much. Now, normally what happens when you get way too much, it is an exhaustion move. This morning, I took all my long-term positions and short-term positions off. We cashed them in. Didn't make as much as we would have otherwise, but I can't say that I got hurt by any of them. And the reason why I took them off is I think we're headed lower. But big moves like today with massive amounts of energy is kind of like the old saying, the bulb that burns twice as bright only burns half as long. You can get a few more days after this, but in the past, what has happened is we've had one big day with amazing volume, which we have. In fact, like I said, this is probably going to be the biggest volume day if this continues tracking in the last 4 years. We're 4.2 billion shares already. So you get massive volume, and it can be too hot. Normally what happens when you get that is not an instant reversal, but nothing. It just goes sideways. We're still in this trading range in the SPYs. I could see us going sideways all the way into Thanksgiving without any problem. Now, we'll know more in a day or two. But my fear isn't that we're going higher. My fear is that we're going nowhere fast, that today will be an exhaustion day. That exhaustion day will end up having us get back into the days that we had in August, which is what was it? We called them the doldrums. I think most people remember exactly what we're talking about. And that's where I'm really worried or wondering whether or not this is something that is cooked up and pushed by the Fed and the Treasury, where they want this market just to sit in this level. Maybe it's the big men of the street that are pushing this. But we've had so much distribution at these levels. The question is, can we finally break out of them and go higher? Earnings have been horrifically bad. I don't understand how you make a case when everybody's telling you earnings are going to be bad. They're going to be bad for a while. Last night after the bell, we had Trip Advisors, and it gets the losing horn for the day. What else can you say? It's blown through all of its lows. It's done so with earnings. And again, I've been very wary of these companies that are mostly reliant on volume and revenues from China. This is basically kind of a Priceline Expedia for China. And I don't see anything else. But a lot of times and occasionally, anyway, we'll talk about Wyckoff style patterns, price and volume patterns. And this is exactly what you call breaking through the ice. This thing jumped the creek on the opposite way or broke through the ice, however you want to look at it. Did so on monstrous volume. Sometimes you get back in the trading range and go sideways. But my guess is this stock is truly broken today. We will be back in a short.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. Had a question about what stocks would be in marijuana going forward. And both of these kind of look like they've finished the ABC up. Scott's Miracle-Gro is SMG. I don't see anybody buying this thing up here at the top. And, of course, that's the fertilizer, but they've been working on fertilizer that works very good for marijuana. GWPH is the only other company that has a legal ability to make and sell marijuana drugs based on THC. There may be some others. There's some IPOs coming out this year. You might want to look at those. Unfortunately, I looked at about 15 of them, and all of them are frauds. They were all some kind of renamed company from something else. Again, I said this yesterday, be very careful of any play in this sector. Most of them are fraud or look like frauds anyway. So I don't see a great deal going on out here. 2162 on the S&P cash. We're up 22 points. 4.3 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape. And, you know, maybe I'm wrong, but this is one of these times where I will fall back on being Maverick in Top Gun. And he had to shake it off and go out and take his plane around a couple of times and then come back after he got his head clear and engage the Ruskies that he had to flip off earlier in the movie. But he just didn't see it, couldn't figure it out. It's always best if you don't know what's going on to get out. You don't always have to know. In fact, different methods will have you doing different things at different times. I am very comfortable trading price and volume. I've done it for 17 years. I just dislike massive volume because it has led to sideways action. And the sideways action has been impermanent after. It could go up, could go down, but most of the time it just goes sideways and wears me out for when the actual move is going to come. So for me, in fact, a very astute call in the den was that even the machines and computers are tired right now, which is probably true. And I may be more susceptible to making an error. But I would rather be out looking in than in and wishing I was out, many people say all the time. Let's go to some of the other things going on in this. Had another request that we will get to. Andy Heck has some new articles out. Son of the traffic chief. And is the ruble rubble? I will say yes. XBI is one of them. XBI. That is Steve. Nice pop out here in the biotechs. I was thinking, I look at the IBB just because I like the way it trades better. Seems to be more easy. And in this sector, where you can have your head cut off in a second, I am much more thinking that the play in these biotechs is to always buy puts and calls, not actually have cash at risk out here, especially when the volatility drops to nil on these things. We've made some really big money in the IBB in the daily newsletter over the last month or so with one of our trades. And you know what? Can we have it again? We could. Now, this has gotten up here. It's come up with giant amounts of volume. The downside is you're into 3 different gaps all around this October 5th through the 11th out here. So you got a lot of gaps. You got monster volume up here. That generally isn't something that you want to short unless you've got a 3-gap play underneath it. So what I will say right here is that you can't go long and you can't go short. This thing is going to go sideways for a while. Most likely it will break out in the wrong direction. So if this thing goes sideways for 4 or 5 days, has a little pop, you get no volume on that, maybe you could short it. If it pulls back and fills the gap with lighter volume, then you could go long. But at this point, there's almost nothing you can do out here. I thought this might get to about 270 on no volume today, and that's where I would have thought about pulling the trigger for an ABC down, somewhere around 270, 275. Never got it, and so now we're into something completely different out here. But just the thought of not having the senator from Massachusetts grilling these people on a daily basis, which was what everybody was telling us yesterday was going to happen, that the Democrats would own the Senate and have never-ending hearings on all of these pharma companies. Well, that's probably gone. And my guess is if we look deep into it, the pharma's probably threw lots of money at the Republicans. So they're probably not going to get any of those. So we will continue to look on. Anyway, thanks. I guess this is G. G. Chand. So that's the answer to that. No good play. Just stand back. Again, monster volume, gap up. A lot of times you get a little bit of action out here, maybe 3, 4, 5 days. That's why I'm looking at these charts thinking that we could go sideways all the way into Thanksgiving now. What else is going on out here? Got a few more emails. Let me take a look at those. Okay. Get into some of the other movers and shakers. You have plenty of time to give me a call at 877-927-6648 or email me at path@tfnn.com. Tesla is another stock out here that is down today, as many of the tech stocks are. Tesla, what did it get down to? 184 basically today. Still down, gap down. Energy's a little stronger out here. With Republicans controlling both the House and the Senate, we will not have a duplicate of 2008 through 10, where this became a giant slush fund in the solar alternative energy sector for, in this case, the Democrats. Before, it was fuel cells in 2002 to 2008. So a curse on both houses. But a lot of the people were thinking that if Tesla could just get, a Democratic president and House and Senate, that it would be back on the gravy train of giant subsidies. Well, no such luck. Down on some fairly significant volume. It is back and through the previous low of June 27th, 187.87, that had 7.2 million shares. We already got 6.8. So we've got the volume. Probably going to end up with 8.5, 9 million shares in this before the end of the day. We pierced that low. Maybe we close above it. Maybe we do not. This still has 25% short interest, so it's not something I can play out here. What I would like is another rip your face off, short squeeze in this thing with almost no volume at the end to signal that it was time to pull the trigger on this thing. I still don't see any change out here in my thought that this is a $40 stock one day, no matter what everybody tends to tell me on Wall Street. Just like the election was going to go the opposite way today. Didn't believe him then, don't believe him now. I'm Tesla.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Had an email to check back in with one of the better looking Gartley patterns that have been out here for a while, and why you probably wouldn't have made any money on this trade. It's also a good indication of just how you set up risk reward and why good Gartleys, i.e. ones that have very light volume in the C to D period that come back, in this case, to the gap up on, the 3rd of June, are nice patterns out here in the fact that you have your back against the wall on these. In this case, the target's 10 for the D target in this. It may still continue higher. I do not know. All I know is that after the first bounce, if I don't get it, I'm out. The risk probably goes up significantly more than that. But on Goldfields, one of the best looking Gartley patterns. When these things fail, you really have to worry about what's going on. Of course, you have to always be putting this together, at least in my opinion, with other things like the dollar index. We're up 69 cents on it at 98.59. I suspect we're going to go tag 100 in the next couple of days. May be yet another great reason to suspect that the market just goes sideways as we wait for the dollar to go up there and say hello to their little friends at 100. Could put the kibosh on the top of that. If it breaks, maybe we do have lower prices. My guess is that we could hover around that 100 on the dollar index, setting up a move in the markets that was, for the most part, just sideways into Thanksgiving. Maybe we get some horrible sales numbers for Black Friday after Thanksgiving, and that sets up the move down. I just can't get very positive ahead of the Fed meeting, which is 13th and 14th of December, for higher rates. Especially, with the elections, another unintended consequences that Janet Yellen is, for the most part, a lame duck. I think we would basically have just over a year for the end of her term. She could resign. Isn't normally something that was done, but there were a lot of comments made on both sides about the presumptive elected president and Ms. Yellen. So could she resign early? She could. I don't know if she would. With only 1 year left. But what it does mean is that at best she is a lame duck. That means that other hawks on the FOMC that want to raise rates have a lot more push. They don't need to worry about her being around for that much longer. The most hawkish may not be able to be squelched in that FOMC meeting. Most of those have already said that they want 3 rate hikes after this one in December. And I think we see the dollar index at 100. That's trying to confirm that we're going to have more, not less, rate hikes come in the future. That would also keep me away from going after too many gold trades. Not saying it's headed lower. That's just I don't see a clear avenue. Maybe easier, riper fruit, low-hanging to be had right now than anything that trades penny for penny off the dollar like gold. May be a tough play to have. What else do we have? Checking on my email. Okay. Well, I find that Chili's sending me special deals on margaritas. Much deserved today, in my opinion. I am tired. What else do we have? Let's look at a few of these other stocks that are moving out here. We looked at Trip. We look at Tesla. U.S. Steel up huge. Again, Trump saying that he's going to repatriate all those trillions of dollars overseas in foreign countries, take that cash and turn it into bridges and roads. And since you used a lot of steel in that, U.S. Steel, a huge pop out here. Now, this is one that I think the volume is much more, at least at the moment, more inclined to see that is kind of just right. Not too little, not too much. If we get up to, what do we have now? 35. We get into like 42 million shares or something. That seems to be about right for that kind of move. And I would look at that. But U.S. Steel, very interesting. Mylan Pharmaceuticals up $1.90. We won't look at that. GoPro, another loser out here. We talked about this one a week or maybe 10 days ago. I wrote about it in the Tech Insider, which you can get on the front page of TFNN, and said that I didn't think that the drone business was going to save GoPro in any form whatsoever. I just thought it would be a neutral. It may even be a hindrance. They're recalling all their drones, and even though we're down on their volume, my guess is that this is going to come back down to the $8.62 low on May 19th. That had 10 million shares. We got 6.1 today. We had 29 million on the 4th. So that was kind of the high volume day, kind of dripping back down. But I think a lot of these stocks like GoPro, failed IPOs for the most part, tend to be pulling back, and the weakest of the stocks. What else do we have out here? CYH, Celgene, SCELG. Of course, some of these individual stocks in the IBB also came up. Huge volume, and this is where this pattern starts to develop we've been talking about, which is just way too much volume, way too quick, and you get an exhaustion move instead of a continued move. 127 is the high today on Celgene, but it's back down just over 121, which is underneath the December 23rd, 2015 high that had 14 million shares. Not uncommon to see these all-at-once things, as we said, burn twice as bright, only burn half as long, and give it up fairly quickly. I think we're probably, if you're wanting to be long anything in the IBB and the biotech pharma sector, you got to get these things a few days to digest these and wait until some kind of pattern develops. I just don't see the risk reward in these right now. What else do we have out there? Mylan PBR is another request. PBR Street Gang. Okay, now Petrobras was down earlier today. They are saying that they're going to drop the price controls in Brazil for fuels locally. I think this one opened up a little bit lower on that this morning, and it's kind of recovered with our markets out here today. You really didn't come down with significant volume out here. You kind of still on the bottom of a trend line coming up. I suspect, though, that if you were looking for this thing and thinking that it was topping out and were long anything closing below the 9-day simple moving average would be one that would have me pull the ripcord. This thing's been going straight up since June 1st at $5.45. So you've had over a double on this thing up to the top. But any pullback below the 9-day out here in the next couple of days would really have me thinking a top was in PBR. We'll be back in a short minute.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to the Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Not a lot of stocks that are really driving this market until tomorrow night, where we have some more earnings. But after the bell tonight, we have Shake Shack, which is kind of a failed IPO, at least in my opinion. Not as bad as some others, but still bad. Overpriced hamburgers. I think we've got plenty of In-N-Out burgers and everything else for that business. I just didn't understand it to begin with. Everybody told everybody that they just had to have it. I think this was kind of out at the height of the CMG Chipotle thing, where everybody thought that these super high expensive fast food restaurants would be the be all end all to everything. It's up a bit today, but earnings out after the bell. But this thing is not that far off the bottom. I would be very wary of playing any of these things. Energy on the way back down, not all that exciting either. The aforementioned earlier Taser, give him the taser. out after the bell also. This company fell apart back on the 3rd, if you remember, when we discussed its losing of the NYSE, not the NYSE, the New York, what was it, the contract for the body cams. And apparently they keep all the data and wirelessly send it back and everything else. Well, another company came in, cut their bid by half or something like that, and that was this huge move down. Decent move up today, probably just short covering into earnings. People thinking, well, maybe we've kind of made about as much as we can on this. I just don't understand where they get that kind of revenue back. It was fairly significantly high. So I couldn't be long it, couldn't be short it, but Taser, another one out after the bell. Now, what we do tomorrow after the bell is probably much more interesting. We've got a few out here. I can't even say it. Blue Buffalo, which had been on kind of a tear. It's the very expensive animal dog food that many people like. I've seen my dog lick things, so I can't imagine that they can taste anything. But BUFF is the symbol. That's tomorrow night. Now, this has a nice big gap. I would like this, if this is going to continue on to be bullish, to pull back to the $20 range and do that on very light volume. So maybe it's gotten a little ahead of itself and it pulls back to that 25. But these recent IPOs have been blowing apart. I would not have any money in this one. They may have put everything into the last earnings call out here. We also have a few more out after the bell. Do I have enough time to get to it is the question. There was one other one I was trying to remember out here that we had. Michael Kors. Normally before the bell, this time after. This one, absolutely nothing. Just going sideways out here. So this one could have a nice move one way or the other if we have too many shorts or too many longs on the side of it. But at the moment, it's got no momentum, no real recent test of highs or lows. Did kind of come down and just the gap up from the June 1st gap that had, what did it have, 60.5 million shares. Came in, tested on 3.2 million shares, tested on 3.2 million shares, bounced. You have high volume out here at 52.67, but very unclear. Anyway, we'll talk more about these tomorrow. A few other earnings after the bell, but probably not much going to happen until then for market moving news of earnings. Anyway, see you tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time. So when you can, not when you have to.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.